Mr. Zelensky's Global Peace Summit, initially planned for June 15th and 16th, has encountered multiple delays and setbacks. Although it aimed to mark the 500th day of the war, it was eventually scheduled for days 843 and 844 of the conflict. Problems began with a lackluster guest list, notably missing high-profile attendees like President Joe Biden and Chinese representatives. This absence led to public rebukes from Mr. Zelensky, which some officials viewed as indicative of his diplomatic naivety. A former government member suggested that his outburst against absent high-level U.S. officials showed nervousness and an attempt to find scapegoats for the summit's shortcomings. In contrast, a current official attributed the summit's issues to Mr. Zelensky's maximalism. Despite these challenges, Ukraine's presidential office has been working diligently to ensure the summit's success. Out of the 160 invited delegations, at least 90 attended. Unfortunately, most of the major international players sent low-level diplomats. Some countries sent their leaders, including European heavyweights Olaf Scholz of Germany, Emmanuel Macron of France, and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The United States was represented by Vice President Kamala Harris instead of President Biden. The summit aimed to unify support for Mr. Zelensky's 10-point peace formula from 2022, developed during a period of relative Ukrainian strength. However, the current situation with Russia pressing along the front line necessitated compromises. The communiqué would only address three uncontroversial points: food security, nuclear security, and the return of prisoners, white out any mention of maximalist claims of reparations, war tribunals, and the withdrawal of Russian troops. This dilution of the peace formula has caused concern among some supporters. Attention is shifting towards alternative negotiation platforms, potentially emerging in late autumn, with Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the Vatican mentioned as possible mediators. A Western European diplomat in Kiev admitted difficulty in understanding China's true stance. Russia's Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, has shown approval for a potential Chinese-led conference. Meanwhile, President Putin has signaled a willingness to consider a ceasefire based on current lines. Officially, the U.S. supports Ukraine's autonomy in determining its objectives, but there is growing impatience, and discussions are occurring about what America might deem an acceptable resolution to the war. A Western diplomat highlighted several factors influencing the timing and conditions of any ceasefire, primarily depending on the battlefield situation. Should Ukraine hold its lines against Russia's summer offensive, it would strengthen its negotiating position and other way around.